Not all of us take a chance on ourselves and our ideas, and I want you to do that. Which is why I want to tell you about our amazing sponsor at Fresh Start Ventures.
Fresh Start Ventures is a VC connector that started off as a blog, which now provides you everything you need for your startup, whether that be financial assistance, strategic help, or any other sort of mentorship that you require to get your idea to the next level.
Fresh Start Ventures is also aligned with the Pakistan e-commerce consortium, meaning they are the perfect people to go to in order to understand the vastly changing world that we live in when it comes to technology and e-commerce rapidly evolving every day.
Fresh Start Ventures have helped a bunch of startups get from their ideation stage all the way to the top, where they've consolidated themselves as top-notch businesses who have won laurels and awards in the industry.
If you truly believe in your idea and the only thing missing is support and some kind of financial backing in the long run, Fresh Start Ventures is your place to go, so please don't hesitate in reaching out to them today.
Visit www.freshstart.pk or the link in our bio.
And give your idea a fresh start. Let's get on with the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 mixed martial arts show in Pakistan. This is The Weigh-In, and welcome to our brand new set. This is the first time we are on it here. The first ever time we're recording an episode with a guest with this background, the story behind the background, whatever. We can get to that later. More important things, in front of me is a wolf. Rehan Uribe, how the fuck are you, man?
Dude, I'm great, bro. I'm excited, bro. We finally got in, dude.
Finally.
I'm so fucking hyped.
I don't know why this happens with a lot of the guests we have on, but everyone, like, it just turns into a bit of a process just to get them up from our end and whatever and everything.
Good things come to those who wait. Dude, yeah, I'm so hyped, bro.
When there's a will, there's a way. And dude, fucking hell. Okay, so let me just start with this. I obviously want to start with ARY Warriors first, because that's what happened. Everybody saw it. It was on TV, etc., etc., etc.
For sure.
How are you feeling after that? That's literally the first thing I want to ask.
Dude, like, there's like no comparable feeling. I was like the night after the fight, like when I went home, like I had some friends over. I'm like, I just like took a break to go take a shower, and like I was just zoning out under the shower, and I was like, man, there's no better feeling. Like the like emotions are just in your chest, dude. I'm still riding that like high of like that post fight. Like it's the best feeling ever, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you got the win in such a I would say I wouldn't say effortless way, but that's exactly like when I envisioned this fight going, I kind of imagined that's what would end up happening. Is like grounding and pounding the guy, and I saw 3 strikes, and it wasn't like he was out or anything. But what's even scarier is the guy was looking at the ref and going, "Yo, stop him!" Like, you know what I mean? Like if you look back at the fight, you can see Zohaib, and respect to Zohaib for taking this fight, but you can see Zohaib kind of just quitting in there. You know what I mean? Like he had to. Those strikes really heavy. Were you surprised?
Dude, I was waiting for those strikes. So like I wanted a box. I know I told you this before too, and I heard the commentary when it was going. I wanted a box of them because like I want to improve my striking and everything. So like maybe I'm just like my own critic, but to me I'm like, damn it, like why that?
Really?
Even afterwards, I was like, man, like I should just like gone for a submission, something flashy. But like that's just like post, you know, like retrospect.
Yeah.
So no, like when I was in there, like I feel like I've gotten much more like tactful and like much more tactical and like precise with my strikes. I wasn't just wailing on him. Like I was waiting, and I was even like looking up at Haras like in the corner. And it was funny because like I was like looking up to him to get some advice, and he was like, "Don't look at me." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was like focused on the fight. I was like, "Dude, I am focused on my fight." So then like from there, dude, like I knew I had him. Like he tried to go for that like bulldog choke and like dude, that's like beginner stuff. So like, and then like grapevine his legs, kept him down. I was like, okay, like I got this guy. So now I was like, let me just pick my strikes. And then dude, like I hit him with some good ones, but like I knew when I really landed. Like that's when I started like heaving him, like reeling into it.
I heard that at the comedy desk as well. I heard you go ha ha ha, and I was like, yo. And Ali Evans steps in after the turn. I'm like, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. And damn, man, I could hear you,
dude. Like when you get those shots, like I know, like I don't want to sound crazy, but like you feel it, and like I saw his like eyes roll back, and I was like, oh, he's gonna quit. Like he's not gonna do anything. Yeah. And then like when I landed 2 heavy ones, and the hammer fist, like I brought it over the top, and it was like right on his chin, and he was like this. Like once the ref came in, like I looked back, and I remember I just seen him like laid out, and I was like, oh damn, I messed him up. I was like, oh shit, that happened.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, first of all, you were supposed to go out there first on the night.
Yeah.
That way, unfortunately, on the last day,
highly did me dirty, bro.
we moved you to number 2, which is was that nerve wracking to?
Dude, the biggest thing for me is always like the mental and like the anxiety part of it. Yeah. So yeah, it did mess with me a little bit because like I said before, like I just wanted to get it done with. Dude. Yeah. Like that's always the part I struggle with is like the mental side of it. So I was just there, and like dude, Hyder came back, and like he was like crying and bawling, and then the other dude came back and his face was like a balloon, and like I'm like looking there, and like my heart rate's rising. But like Horace, dude, shout out Horace, but dude, you're a legend, man.
For sure.
Amazing. He like slapped my shoulders. He's like, don't focus on them, just focus on you, and like just look straight, and like brought me to this corner and just had me like doing my warm-ups, and that helped like zero me in and just had me focus on like getting there.
Yeah, because I can imagine like so my philosophy with sending Heather and Izzat out first was because mostly people, what they do is they go like amateur fights first and then pro fights after, or they make some kind of an arbitrary thing in their head where they're like, this guy should go out first because he's like least experienced, and this guy should go out last because he's most experienced. I don't believe in that. I think this was a show, right?
Yeah, we're putting on a show. Dude, you started with a bang.
Exactly. That was a plan, because Heather Farman can main event this card, Najm Khan can main event this card. I think any of these, like most of these, we pick them up and they can main event a card. But the way I was thinking about it was, you send out the best, one of the 2 best pro fights out first, put the crowd on, like just light them on fire, so they're not going anywhere for the rest of 2.5 hours. They're like, oh my god, that was incredible, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But then what I didn't think about was, after that fight, it was you making you and Zohaib, you had like 2 amateur fights, he's at 0, and then it was Iman and Saki both making their amateur debut, and then Zulkarnain and son-in-law also both making their amateur debut right after that. So what I didn't factor in was how it might affect everyone. When I talked to Iman and I talked to Saki, and everybody was just like, as soon as that first fight was over and we saw them come out back, we're like, holy shit, what's going on?
Dude, it sets in. You're like, it's real. Like there's like, dude, the night before, like I was just laying down, and like I'd be like right in the middle of just about to sleep, and like just as I'm about to fall asleep, it's like, oh shit, I'm fighting tomorrow. I was like, wait a minute, dude, I gotta go out in front of like 300 400 people and go fight. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like this is crazy. And like you get that like reality check, right? Because like dude, like even sometimes like, because like you're so engrossed in like training, like dude, we were coming in like Atif, everybody, like we're training, like well, everybody's out, the gym's empty, right? So you're just in that grind. There's a few moments where like reality hits you. Like I remember I was like taping up my hands, and I was like, oh my god, this is for a fight. Like I'm fighting. Like this is crazy. Like it starts setting in like the closer it gets.
And you said hindsight's 2020, but did you ever think this would happen when you first landed in Pakistan?
Dude, no. Far from it, bro. Really? So dude, I came here, I'm going to university out here. I'm studying to be a physiotherapist. A little loophole, dude. You don't have to go through that med school route like in America, get all that debt, bro. So I came out here, and originally I was supposed to come out here to wrestle, so I was on a scholarship to my university, and then my intent was to get my Nadra card and then represent Pakistan in the Olympics. Like that was my goal. And then I got hit with the Pakistan like administration, bro. Like they make everything so tedious. So I wasn't able to get my Nadra card in time. Like they wanted my mom to physically be out here. Like I literally had all the documents, and they were like, no, she has to be here in person. Like they were saying like, your mom isn't your mom. I was like, what?
Shout out Nadra, go fuck yourself.
You're amazing. So then because that happened, I was like, okay, like I'll just wrestle at school. Like I'll wrestle nationally, right? Because my cousin does wushu, so she told me like how she goes to HEC and she gets all these like scholarships and stipends. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. Like that's great. And then like shout out Pakistan again. Like they ended up shutting down the sports center because like there's some like thing where teachers were taking like stipend money. So I was like, all right, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I think I'm just gonna focus on school. So my whole first year here, dude, was like I was like a shut-in. Like I lived down in Wapta town with my nanny's sister and like her family, and like to me, like this was my first time in Pakistan, so like I didn't know anything about it. Like I had just come to visit, like and even that was like 1 week, 2 weeks, and I was just in the house. So here, like I was like, oh damn, this is all Pakistan is. It's just like Wapta town and University of Lahore. Like that's it. Like that's how the people are. That's how like the environment in it is. So dude, I would just do schoolwork. I would study. I wasn't even going to the gym because like dude, the gyms were all like they were filled with all these like steroided up uncles. I was like, I'm good, bro. Like,
the gyms,
yeah, they're wild. But so it was all just like by chance, really, because like I think towards the end of the year, dude, I was putting on some weight and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm an athlete. Like, why am I not training? Like, it's like school's pretty much done. We're doing it online. So like, why am I just sitting on my ass, like just playing video games, like FaceTime my friends? So because of that, I started looking at gyms and like I ended up finding XFit. And I ran into Shahid there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I ran into Shahid and Bahram. And then from there, Shahid brought me to Brave. I met Umar Bhai and Osman Bhai, like, and they were training. I was like, oh my God, this gym is amazing. And dude, I remember my first time in DHA, like I was Ubering there. I was like looking at the roads and I was like looking at everything. I was like, this is Western as hell. I was like, I didn't even know this existed. I was like, what the hell? Dude? Why'd I spend this whole year there?
Yeah.
So like, it was just completely by chance where I was like, okay, like, I guess I'll do MMA then, because I had done boxing for like 2 years, but like, dude, I have like 15 years of wrestling. So I was like, why would I just throw that away? And MMA, dude, MMA is like the best, bro. Yeah, dude, because dude, boxing is great. I love boxing. Boxers are amazing people, like great athletes as well. But dude, like, this is only 2. Dude, like you have 1, 2, you have your legs, you have knees, you have elbows, you have wrestling, dude. So it's like, this is like true martial art and like combat, dude. Like to me, like I'm a purist, bro. Like that's nothing gets better than that. So yeah, I like fell in love with that, started training, and then eventually I ran into the Third World Boys, and then next thing you know, we're fighting on ARY.
Yeah, but that sounds like a crazy sequence of events, and yeah, I mean, I get it, because it would be a shame if you just box for the rest of your life. I would be really heartbroken, man, because Pakistan has it's like fundamentals in wrestling, like traditionally, like kushti and pelwani and all of that, like it's there, but MMA is just so close to, like you said, like real unarmed combat. That is you know, like, and people tend to approach MMA as like a thing they can transition into with their fundamentals. So like I know a lot of wushu guys in Pakistan, or even like taekwondo or kyokushin guys, you know, like people who come from traditional martial arts, they will come into MMA, but they'll bring with them every single fundamental they know from, you know, their background, and then they will like try to apply it in there.
And then they get hit with like wrestling.
It doesn't work, and it would like MMA, you I think you have to some level treat it as like an entire discipline, right? Like you gotta, and how's that transition been for you? Because I know, like you said, 15 years wrestling, 2 years boxing, and now, even though it kind of logically the most useful combination for MMA is a good wrestler with Conor, you said good wrestler with an overhand or whatever, right? Like wrestling and boxing is the more traditional combination, but how's that transition been for you since you started training MMA?
It's definitely been tough. I actually did a little bit of jiu-jitsu when I was in high school.
Right.
And dude, I was like, I had that same approach as like those early guys and like the early UFCs where I was like, wrestling is the best, dude. There's nothing better. Like, dude, like, so dude, I would go out there and I would like blast double or like lat drop these like jiu-jitsu dudes because their takedowns wasn't good. And then I would get put in a triangle. And then me being like the hard-headed like dumbass that I am, I was like, I'm not gonna tap, dude. Like, dude, I got choked out for like 3 days in a row and I had like such a bad headache, and I was like, all right, hang on. It's like maybe there is more to this. So like I think once I got rid of that like bullheadedness and that stubbornness, I was able to like open up to the game a little bit more and see that, okay, this isn't just wrestling. And then I think that helps with my approach now, because like I don't look at like, everybody's like, oh, you're a wrestler, but like, nah, dude, like I'm a martial artist, like that's what I want to be. So if you just fall back on wrestling, that'll work until you meet a wrestler of the same caliber, right? So now your wrestling's gone. Now what does it go to? Boxing, jiu-jitsu. So you got to be at least really good in those. That way you can beat this guy. Otherwise, you're going to lose those matches, those hard matches when you get there. So, sorry, to go back to what you were saying, like the transition for that, I think, was just looking at the game that way really helped me develop it, right? Because like wrestling isn't just like my go-to, it's my setup. It's my setup for my boxing. Then my boxing sets up the wrestling, and the wrestling sets up the jiu-jitsu. Then they all combine. And then you get this like beautiful, like almost like painting of like martial arts. It's amazing, man. I love it.
I mean, you can choose to like switch on and off your approach depending on your opponent. Like I really love what GSP once said. Like he I'm not gonna try to quote him. I don't remember what exactly he said, but basically it was along the lines of.
You gotta do the French accent as well.
And he talks like he has no concept of how loud. He's like, "Okay, let me tell you something, Rehan, you are a great fighter." Like, relax,
dude. I was watching one of those like GQ videos or whatever, or GSPs. I love those because you always get to hear the martial artists. I'm like, I watch like Wonder Boy and like. Who was it? Ortega do this, and then I got the GSP, and I was like, I cannot watch this. Like, I was like he's just screaming at me, and it's like, I
really like this shit. Thank you. But yeah, fuck it. But yeah, GSP said basically he would fight, like, you know, because he is good Kyokushin background, good wrestling, good everything. Yeah. He would fight in a way that it would be opposite to his opponent. Like, whatever his opponent's not good at, he would just fight in that.
Yeah.
I think that's just like the best way to go. Dude wants to wrestle? All right, we're boxing now. Who wants to box? Okay, we're wrestling now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, did he upped his grappling?
Big time.
Yeah, just because he said like, why am I gonna go take damage? Like, why am I gonna do that? And then like, if you look at Khabib and people like that, like I think that's a good thing is like having those kind of people to learn from, right? Like we see what happened to Ronda Rousey when she like tried to become a boxer. Like she was amazing, and then at top of her game, then she switched up her style. Yeah. So I feel like, dude, like fighting is like, it's a martial art. Like it's your own art style, right? So if you try to copy somebody else's style, like you're not going to do as good. Like everybody has their own style, and I feel like once you fall into that and you develop it, you only play to your advantages now because this is your style, and nobody's going to be able to match that. Yeah. So it's awesome, man. It's the best.
I get you. And when you moved here and you started training here, MMA and everything, so obviously you had to develop your own style, like you were saying. Yeah. But then beyond that as well, obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of things. I'm 100% sure there's everything which is different. Like, you know what I mean? Like life here is completely different from.
Man,
I haven't been to Chicago, but I spent a year in Georgia. Okay. And so got to travel here and there. Like, you know what I mean? Going up to New York, Philly, whatever. Just like. It's a completely different world. Like in a lot of ways, very similar sometimes. Especially when I was in Georgia, because I realized Georgians and Pakistanis are very similar. They both love God and guns, and you know what I mean. Like,
you were in those red states, bro. You were down south, bro.
Oh yeah, dude. I was told to go back to your own country like many times, and I was like, I will once my visa's expired, motherfucker. I don't intend on living
you
here.
First, motherfucker. You first.
Go back to Italy or Ireland or wherever your ancestors
European motherfucker.
But yeah, I mean, but it's completely different lifestyle. Like, and also just since you were restricted to Wap it down and then UOL for like 1 year, and then you start coming out of Brave now, and I think you're living closer to Brave now as well, so it's easier. I'm sure the transition has now made stuff better. But initially, when you came down here, like, what was it like, and how did you adjust?
I think the good thing about me is like I'm very adaptable. Like, dude, I got like 3 younger brothers, and like some of them like they cannot. My brother Hakeem, like I love him, he's amazing, but if it was him, like he would not be able to adapt. He's very like, I need my lotions, I need my this, I need my creams, I need everything to be how it is. Like I'm the opposite. I'm like, okay, well, like what they got. So I think that like approach to it really helped me out, because like I was like, okay, like this is where I'm staying, and like it was tough because like a lot of me, just because like I didn't have that like. A part of me was like, oh damn, I'm missing that college life in America, and like I would FaceTime my friends and I would hear their stories, and then like I realized like I was kind of like essentially like living through them. Like I was listening to their stories, like seeing how their lives were, and then I was just like, oh man, imagine like that's so great. Like then I was just waiting for the summer, and I think neglecting that and being like, hey dude, like I got this here, right? So coming out to DHA and like seeing like, okay, like I'm in Pakistan, like when in Rome, right? Like so being able to open up and talk to people and get more friends, and then like having the experiences and going out like really opened up Pakistan for me and opened up like the lifestyle, so it made the adjustment quicker. But in the beginning, dude, it not gonna lie, it was pretty rough.
I can imagine.
It was a big culture shock, dude. Like everything was so different. The only similarities I could say is that Mexicans and Pakistanis are very quite similar. We have tortillas, they have like rotis and naans. So it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute, this is this is too different.
Food wise, if you're used to like Mexican food, unless you go to that Cuban place we were talking about, that Cuban place, that Mexican place we were talking about with the Cuban flags and shit.
Not gonna lie to you, they did pretty good. They did pretty good at copying it.
Yeah, all right.
Might have to go.
But yeah, I mean that from that perspective, you are close to, like, Mexicans are close to Pakistanis, but I'm sure everything else, like I went for a year, like 1 year I was in the US. When I came back, I was like, whoa, where am I? Like, you know what I mean? Because you get used to
Oh,
it.
dude, even getting back to the U.S., like, I was talking different, dude. They were like, "Man, dude, your accent changing, bro? Why are you using less verbs, man? What's happening? What's going on, bro?"
Less verbs. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so, like, I definitely had to adjust to it. And, like, I don't mind it, bro, because, like, I am Pakistani. Like, this is part of me is here, dude. This is my culture, yeah.
Facts.
So, like, I think like embracing that, like, really opened me up. Because then, like, a lot of me in high school was, like, whoever I hung out with, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of, like, I tried to, like, copy them. Or, like, oh, you like this? Like, I like this as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like now, like, kind of settling into my own skin, like, being, like, who I am, like, it helps me out a lot.
Yeah, I think
So,
this is going to make you in a very hard... like a hard motherfucker when you go back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have, you've seen some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude,
like, you guys think this is bad? I was in Wapta Town. Like, fucking, no, seriously. Like,
2 tours Wapta Town.
oh, for real. And you know what? I think ultimately...
No hate to Wapta Town, by the way. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, shout out Wapta Town. But like, come on, guys. I mean, what I'm glad happened though was, you came to Brave, and you know, like that was thing number one, because I feel as if you're right. XFIT, I even after, which is why when you said XFIT, I had a smile on my face. So I've trained in XFIT too, like right before I went to Brave.
Yeah,
and I met Shahid there as well, so it's crazy. But yeah, XFIT, but like Brave is. I would say undoubtedly Brave Gym, and this is not just a cheap marketing plug, like because I work there.
Trademark Brave Gym.
Brave Gym is the greatest sports enhancement facility. No, but really, like it is.
No, dude, it really is the best, because like
in
America, like we have all sorts of gyms, right? So you get to like pick your choose, like, oh, you like jiu-jitsu, oh, you like this. So in Pakistan, like we don't really have that opportunity, right? We have Rogue. There was Synergy. Then if you go to Sambad, you have TFF, and then Karachi SK7. So you got like 4 things in the whole country. Yeah. So to have Brave be like this, like mega facility, right? Compared to like most, is like amazing, and it's such a good center. And like hopefully once Rona's done and everything, we can start bringing people in. Dude, like I have no doubt, like Brave is gonna like break ahead of everybody and like lead the pack
for sure. And I'm glad you met 3WL, and I'm glad they met you.
Dude, it's so crazy because like, what are the odds? Sometimes I think about it. I was like, what are the odds that like I just became? Because you know what's crazy too is, so one of my friends from UOL, his name is Yasser Said. Shout out. Lots of shout outs today.
Shout out. Yeah. All the shout out.
Hell yeah. He introduced me to Third World because he was friends with Big and Gaim. And he was like, oh, dude, you should fight. And I was like looking at this, and I was like, I could, like, no, what is this? Like, I was like, dude, I will toss these guys around. So then, like, once I got introduced, like, I was like, oh, dude, these guys are like MMA fanatics like me. They're referencing these like old MMA fights, the Silva era, Weidman. Like, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then like we clicked, and then like it was just like this crazy spiral of events, like where I got back home and they're like, oh, dude, you want to fight in Third World 5? And I was like, dude, let's do it. Like, hell yeah, let's go. And I think there I caught Umarbai's attention. And then I think it was really in Third World 6 where like I showed him like, oh, this guy can fight. Like, okay, he's the real deal.
This guy can fight anyway, because that dude was how many pounds heavier? 20?
He says he was like, oh, dude, I'm like 65. And like, I got no beef, bro. But yeah, I think he came in like 68, 70, and I was like 61 at the time. So at least there's like a
that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's like 2 weight classes almost.
Oh my god! And you beat him. Not only beat him, like you took his shots, and that was really impressive. Like, you took his shots, a heavier guy, and you still like took him down, gave him some back. Like it was.
Yeah, dude. I hate those shin pads that we have to wear, first of all.
Oh, the black ones?
Yeah, dude, those stopped. Like, I was so happy in this ARY event that, like, we didn't have to wear those because, like, it helps your grappling so much. Yeah. But, yeah, in that fight, dude, it was really a test because I had never fought anything like that. Like, there's a difference, obviously, between sparring, you're trying to replicate a fight, and then fighting is, like, shit, we're in it, you know? So, I think what also helped, too, is, like, since there's not too many guys my size at Brave, I'm always training with people who have like that longer reach, those harder punches. So it really did help me out. And then, dude, like when I ate that shot, like he didn't necessarily knock me. I kind of rode into it and like slipped. But yeah, he shook my head up, dude. Like I like if you see me, I was like shaking my head. I was like, damn, like, and then like just having to push through that, I think it really gave me the confidence of like, okay, like I can take a punch and I can keep fighting. Like, I can keep this like mental state, right? Like some people, they take a punch, they don't know what's happening, right? Or they get in there and the anxiety shakes them up and they don't know what's going on. But like for me, I was like, okay, like this gave me a lot of confidence. It was like, I can do this. Like, and it really is like, dude, if I can do this to this guy, like dude, like people my size, it's like easy mode, bro.
Easy,
Yeah.
And I say I'm glad you met them, because obviously then fights like these happen, and that leads into like more fights, and most importantly is this experience. It's rounds, you know what I mean?
Man, yeah.
I don't think you'll ever get to fight a guy 2 weight classes heavier than you, and I know at the time it's not the best thing to do, but in retrospect, I mean, it's valuable experience.
No, like I took what I learned from there, right? Like from the fight itself, and that was the thing too, was because it was a 3-round fight. My first round fight, I went out there, I armbarred the dude in the first round. The next fight, this one being a third round fight, like I got to see how I function, not only like with somebody striking, with somebody bigger, like after taking a punch, and all the way through rounds too. So like that really gave me a lot of experience in the fighting ring, and then also gave me experience out. Like, okay, like dude, I had this is so bad. I had a partial tear in my MCL in December. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I was going with Zia Mishwani.
Oh yeah.
We were wrestling, and then a little mishap happened. He like pulled my ankle. I heard a pop, and I'd never been injured. And like, dude, my dumb ass, I was just like, I stood up and I was like, if I just don't think about it, it'll go away.
Nice.
Dude, I was like, I'm not injured, I'm fine. And I did like 2 rounds like boxing with some dude. And then I woke up the next day and my knee was like a balloon. I was like, all right, I think reality's setting in. I think I'm injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I took a month off from the gym and I came back January, and I was literally training for like a week or 2, and like my knee wasn't even at like, I'd say it was at like 80%, 70%.
Yeah.
Like I can move it mostly, but like, I couldn't do any internal rotation, any kicks like that. So that happened, and then I took a fight against a dude bigger than me. So so talk about walking out with like lessons. I learned from the fight, and then I also learned, okay, like I'm not fighting people when I'm injured. I like, you have to be ready. Like almost that Justin Gaethje approach. Like I'm not gonna be like some journeyman who hops in for every fight. Like I fight when I'm ready. Yeah. Because then it also gives you that mental, like I want to be prepared mentally to jump into a fight. Like it's a big thing. Like and that was like a shock. Just jumping from that 2 weeks to be like, oh shit, we're fighting. Yeah. And then just helping with matchups. You know, I think that helps me now because like I dictate who I want to fight. Yeah. Right. Because this is my career. Like, I don't want to hinder it in any way. Right. No, right now as an amateur, the best thing to do is like get in fights, get experience, like fight guys who are challenging but beatable. Right. That way you have those like little hills that you climb, and then just build myself up until like I can go out and like destroy like IMMAF, and then just hopefully get a contract, which you will, inshallah. And
freaking like this is very good smart approach to take, because in Pakistan this is like a big problem. Like the guys' careers get completely wasted and fucked up because somebody just somebody's either negligent or just doesn't take care of their fighter, or just doesn't give a shit, or I don't know. Like sometimes it's confusing how a certain managers and whatever you want to call them, like in Pakistan, a lot of places these guys are just like cult leaders, what I mean? Man, and they'll fuck up like I've seen a guy, I won't take his name or his manager's name because we both know both of them, so I don't need to. But like this guy took his fighter to another city. Like I was in that bus and we stopped like multiple times to get food. The guy was weight cutting, so he was completely drained as it is, right? Yeah. And then this is supposed to be a 6-hour bus ride turned into a 12-hour bus ride because he wouldn't pay the bus guy. He would stop like twice for food, and the fighter was just waiting, sitting there waiting. Then the fucking bus broke down, and this happened. And after 12 hours of travel, that dude,
that wears on you too, man.
Dude showed up, stepped on the scale, he was shaking, and his opponent sitting there just like fully fed and ready to go, just like and then he lost the next day. That was the one and only pro loss on that guy's career. And he'll be there forever. Fucking why?
Dude, and that's the thing too, is like I feel like learning from those people, because I've seen it happen, right? Like we've seen it. So for me, like seeing that happen, like I don't want to fall into the same pitfalls, and like I really do believe like you need like good people behind you who will like steer you in the right way and like let you know, like, because there's a lot of yes men, right? Like people have their own volitions for everything. They have their own agenda, right? So they might be telling you, oh dude, this is the best fight like to make, like this is great for you, the publicity, right? And for them, like that's completing their own agenda where we're bringing in people. But for you and your career path, like it's not. So yeah, definitely having the good people around you, I think, have like steered me away from that, and then learning my lesson from that fight has that's not gonna happen to me. But it's crazy how much it happens out here. People are just very, very negligent, and they just like they don't care.
No, I don't. And this is, so I'm glad you found Third World, but I'm glad they found you as well. And I want to kind of talk about that for a second. The reason I say that is because so Third World's been a very interesting thing over time, right? So as soon as they broke out in the scene, everybody was kind of confused about what they're doing, mainly because of the presentation, lack of skills, lack of training. Like when you go back, watch their videos from the Shaheen days, like when when Kaim busted his head open like on the ceiling. That shit's hilarious, by the way. To this day, one of the funniest things I've seen. Like Kaim enters the ring, he's like the Kingsler or whatever, and then he like kicks out the cage. He hits his head on literally the ceiling of Shaheen. He like falls on the cage. He's busted open. They take him to National Hospital. Like that is, I'm glad you're okay now, buddy. But you know, like
that's very comedic.
I swear. And like from that, like it would be very easy to pick on these guys. And people would DM them horrible things. People would come to me and say, "Yeah, what's up with these stupid kids, man? Like they're so stupid, man." And I'll be like, okay, I get what you're
doing though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like there's a lot of guys who from the jiu-jitsu community, for example, here in Pakistan, have shat on this thing, right? And I love a lot of them.
You know who you are.
Yeah, and like I said, I love a lot of them. Like I love everybody in Pakistan, but with me, it's like, what has the jiu-jitsu community done for the last 6 years? When is the last comp been? And it's like a lot of guys complain like there's no comp. We need a comp to like get better. Then hold one.
Yeah,
you know, these motherfuckers been holding things in parks and shit.
Dude, they go out there, man. Like they like if you look at their trajectory, they go from like they're like fighting in Shaheen, fighting in parks, right?
Yeah.
And then now they're with Brave, right? Yeah. Like, and they kudos to them because like they took it all in stride. Like they took all that hate in stride because they said they had a bigger vision ahead of them. So when they came to me and like we were talking about that, and I really got to like talk to them as people, I was like, oh, these are people like I respect, and these are people like, yeah, I'll fight for you. Like I'll fight under you. Like, and I don't get how the other people don't have the vision to see that, right? Because like it's like the Pac MMA article said, like love them or hate them, right? They're doing it, like they're spiking it off. And leading the pack for Pakistan's MMA to take off. Yeah. No other gym has done that. No other like group has done that, right? Like, yeah, they need better fighters. So then sign up, bring people in.
Here they are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So then, like, I enjoy being that kind of like figurehead, right? Yeah. If that's what you want to call me.
No,
like,
that is,
yeah, like because I can show you like, hey, we do have good fighters that will fight in here, right? Yeah. Now bring more people in, bring the community in instead of hating on them, right? Yeah. Like, we're martial artists. We only benefit by helping each other out. Yeah. Like there's nothing that like is gonna like, right? Like here it's like everybody has their beefs. Like this person trains at this gym because he doesn't like this person. That's why he's at this gym. It's like, fuck all that, dude. Like, like I remember that was one of the big things about going to XFit. Like, was like Shahad was like, oh, like I don't know. Like I think there was still some like arguments and like there was this, and I was like, dude, this is like the biggest facility and the nicest facility in Pakistan, and you're gonna pass it up over like petty beef. Yeah. And like we had a talk, and then eventually we got everybody to go through. And I think that just needs to happen with the MMA community. Right. And like cut these guys some slack, right? Like if you think you could do it better, help them out then.
No, do it better. Like simply put, do it better.
Yeah, do it better. Do it better or help them out. Yeah. Like instead of just chastising them, like what are you doing? What are you accomplishing? What are you accomplishing? Nothing.
And like that see, I would be completely straightforward and honest. You can go watch some of the old podcasts when TW would first come out. I think it was 1 or 2 with Jamil Rizvi as well, where we talked about it, and we were in awe of it. We were like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? These guys are in parks and they're being the shit. And I never met these kids. I never met Kaiman Beg. I never been to Brave yet. I just seen it from the outside looking in, right? And I could completely understand why a lot of people would be baffled by it, especially the early stages, because in the first couple of events, guys really didn't know how to fight. Like, it was pretty evident.
Yeah, dude, they just went out there, dacey fighting, slapping.
Slapping and fucking no headgear, right? And all that stuff is not really safe. Like, especially if like 1 or 2 punches land clean on the back of the head, it's like, it's not okay. You can be concerned about it, right? You can even raise your voice and say that's not, but there's no reason to like say that what they're doing is wrong, or you know what I mean, like make a deal out of it or bash them. Exactly. I've had the chance of working with these guys since they've been holding, I think like after 5, 6 or 7 maybe. And I mean, when I say working with them, not like I help them put the event together. This is their thing. They do it 110% by themselves. with their own resource, with their own people, all of that. Every time they put on a show, they invite the guests, right?
Dude,
We just give them
they
the
bring
facility.
out a crowd too.
And it's a lot of work, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like they have
Dude, you're
Braves.
hosting an event with like 300, 400 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the pre-work that these guys put in before, like with marketing and promotion and all of that, it's a lot of work, man. It's like, and they're good at it. They're very good at bringing together some hype. You know what I mean? So instead of, like you said, like chastising them, just contribute to them in whatever way you can, like silently from the side, and now it's like the last event was freaking awesome, dude. Like barring the few judging mishaps that we had, like fuck that, but it was awesome.
You have to understand what you're getting into. Like, I hate those because like people either chastise them, right, and they don't help them and they just bash them, or they like hold them to this standard, like there's some like pro, like they're the UFC. It's like, no, dude, they're not. And like, you know that the fighters know that. They know that their aspirations are to get to that level, right? Like, they want to build it up and get there, but it's baby steps. So like, hold them to this standard and be like, oh well, this judging happened. It's like, okay, yeah, that happened, we're sorry for that, you know, we're trying to do better, let's move past it. I don't understand why things have to be so drawn out and this like dramatic thing. Like, these guys are doing great work and they're building up the community. Okay, so they're changing a culture, right? The culture, like, nobody knows what MMA is here, right? It's such a small sport field, but it's growing, right? And then there's like that, what do they call it? But the culture. Parda, excuse my accent.
Yeah, you're good, dude.
Yeah, like, that's the culture out here. When people fight, like, we kind of talked about this earlier. Like, when people fight, it's like 15, 20, 30, then uncles, cousins. Like, nah, dude, like, back, like, get it 1v1, right?
Mano a mano.
Yeah, exactly. Settle it the right way. Like, there's no need for all these people to do that. So to change a complete culture and get people into like a new sport, that's beyond, like, that's it's for the culture, bro. Like, that's great.
Seriously.
So like, I feel like you can only really commend them, and instead of chastising them, advise them or help them, right? And that just builds you up as well.
And did you hear the crowd for your fight and Zulkarnain's fight and Atif's fight? That was all of them.
It's a strong community, man. Like, so if we prop our fighters up, like, that's what I'm saying, it only benefits us. If you chastise them, right, and you like yell at them, like it doesn't do anything for you or the community of MMA in Pakistan. But if we like come together, then like it boosts everything up. Like, that was the best thing about the ARY like Warriors event, and even when like Amir Khan came in. But you get all these fighters from like all over, and like, I don't know, it's just kind of like a bro moment. Like, I don't know, I feel like I relate so much to fighters because like you just have that like connection. So like right, like I was talking to Najim Khan, I was talking to Haider, like I was talking to all these guys, and like it was like, bro, it was amazing, and you get that chance to like build that community, right, instead of everybody being separated, right? Like where TFF hates Brave or some shit like that. Like, like if we come together, then we build each other up, everybody's fighting gets better, and then the shows get better. Man, it's all about unity, bro.
Honestly, and there's no need for like, there's a lot of people who have a lot of problems with each other in Pak MMA, and I understand like if there's like a problem, I can respect like two people having a problem with each other. That's like the most normal thing in the world.
Of course, man.
But after a point, it's like you know, it's
when's it petty?
When are we gonna stop with this shit? Because honestly speaking, there's not too many people here in Pakistan. Like, you counted like 4 gyms. There's more than 4 gyms. There's like a whole bunch of gyms in Pakistan. But even then, it's like such a small community of fighters and coaches, and you know, people. Everybody knows each other, and for some reason, half of them fall with each other. This is the thing what I've been saying from the start of this podcast. It's like, if we can just bury certain hatchets between certain people, we can really, really, you know what I mean, move forward with an intent to kill motherfuckers internationally. Like, and I think that's what we should be looking at. That's how we should be focusing. It's not like, can Rogue beat whoever, or can Pakido beat TFF, or can, you know, Brave beat Shaheen. It shouldn't be about that stuff.
Can Pakistan beat India?
That's literally, that's what we should be focusing on.
Yeah, we got to bring each other together, man.
And it's like the day somebody can say that, you know, this guy from my club is not as good as your guy from your club, and he should be going out and fighting instead. Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to say that. But when we get closer to that point where we can all kind of understand through some kind of a meritocratic process as to who the top dog is, and you know, that is the day where I think we're really close to.
I think that starts with like swallowing the pride and like checking the ego, you know, like, because that's everything that holds you back. And like, when you're super prideful, like, and like, even with me, like, dude, whenever I was like, see, like, with how I said with jiu-jitsu, when I was super prideful about like wrestling and I had this big wrestling ego, dude, it stopped me from seeing this like beautiful art that was like right in front of me, right? So I feel like a lot of people are missing like, hey, we could have like a beautiful like connection and bond between these teams and unite like as a country to like boost MMA in general, which is better for everybody. But the only way we get there is by like swallowing that pride, suppressing the ego a little bit. Yeah.
And okay, we'll switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Who's your favorite fighter?
Ooh, that's a tough one, bro.
You can tell me multiple if you want.
Okay.
But if you have one, I
dude, I like Izzy.
Okay.
I love Izzy. He's a weeb. Dude. Represent, bro.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I love Izzy, dude. He's a big showman. I actually used to like Conor, dude. So I came in around. Do you remember when like Save Wrestling was happening, right? Because they were about like they wanted to take it out. So like
Olympics,
that's when I came in. Yeah. So I remember I came in like right at Anderson Silva's like downfall.
Ooh, okay.
Right when he faced Weidman and he was like showboating and he gets knocked out. That was like one of the first like pay-per-view events that like I bought, like our family bought, and we watched all the way through.
Wow.
So then from there it was like I was in the back because my parents hated fighting. Like so like they were always like, oh, it's dangerous. We had some like family friends that fought. One had like an eye injury, so they didn't like it. But to me, like I was like, this is fucking amazing. I was like, this is dope. Like I love it. So yeah, like I came in during that era. I really loved Ronda just because like transition. So like it was Ronda for a while, then it was Conor. Yeah, bro. So now I'd say Izzy. I love Izzy. Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
Dude, he popped off, bro. He's amazing. And like
he's a Funko Pop collector.
Yeah, dude.
He doesn't take him out of the box though. I think you'll hate me. Also, you mentioned Conor's. You used to like Conor. Conor's on timeout.
I saw. Yeah. He needs to stay there. Right? Yeah. You're the evil, bro.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Something wrong with this guy. I used to be this guy's fan. Like.
Yeah, because dude, like it's like that same thing. Like. Love him or hate him, like he did do amazing things for the sport.
Yeah.
And speaking
but now
of
I hate him. Yeah.
Speaking of love or hate him, dude, I used to be a big John Jones fan.
Oh.
Yeah, bro. I kind of like villains a little bit. So like, yeah, dude, me and my dad would argue. He'd be like, dude, he tested positive. So I was like, so none of his wins count. I was like, is that what you're saying? I was like youngest champion, and now we're just gonna count all that out. Like, I used to love John Jones for a while, but yeah, like I'd say now Brandon Moreno, Izzy. It's so hard, like, once you ask me. And Khabib, obviously, bro.
Gaethje.
Khabib, Gaethje. Dude, Gaethje just goes out there and swings.
I love Gaethje so much, mainly because of the YouTube algorithm. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
the Gaethje algorithm, like where you just get like a random clip per day for just Gaethje, where it's like 15 seconds of him talking about something completely random, but you just
fucking broken nose too. He's like, I'm waiting for somebody break his nose so he can like. I want to listen more to him, but like.
What do you think is the greatest fight of all time? Just curious.
Greatest fight of all time, dude. There are some crazy ones, man. Conor and Diaz was a big one, dude. Like I remember watching that live and like seeing that fight. Like that was like, dude, that was like a prime era, man. And I think John Jones versus Gustafsson.
Oh,
dude, where he's like,
the first one, right?
Dude, he didn't even train. Like that's the crazy thing is like him not training and still like that just like. It's muscle memory, man. It's amazing, like to see that fight go down.
Yeah.
Right now, dude, probably my favorite fight would be like Moreno versus Figgy, like one. Dude, that was beautiful, man. Like that's hard too, dude. Like to keep like fighting, like dude. Like I remember, like dude, like when he won, I'm not gonna lie, like we're all boys here. There were some few tears shed, bro.
Like, same here, man.
Dude, he's like holding the belt. He's like, I was so fucking happy, like dude. And then like you kind of like, for me at least, like I place myself there. I'm like, that'll be me one day, and like you see it, and like dude, it's just like. I don't know, man. Like I fucking love MMA, bro. Like it's just this like beautiful art, and like you see like all his work, right? He gets like he's the underdog. He gets counted out. He gets cut from the UFC. He comes back. He wins the belt. Like and it's just like such a beautiful like in such a beautiful fashion as well. Like just it's just amazing, man. I love it. And like seeing that just like inspires me, dude. Like so I will watch a fight and then I'll watch it back like to dissect it.
Yeah. What'd you take away from that fight mostly?
Well for me, dude, because he's the same weight. Just seeing that like combination, like seeing that striking mixed to the wrestling was like amazing, and then his control and just even the way he moves and cuts angles was like beautiful. And for me, like my guard is always like a point of critique. So just seeing how he keeps those elbows in, he keeps his hands moving, I was like, okay, like I'll start doing that a little bit. Yeah, man, like it's amazing, like just seeing those fights and like seeing like I do that. I do the same thing as them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
You're on the same weight as us, 125, right?
yeah.
Did it piss you off when somewhere in between they were just like, oh, we're gonna close up the 125
Yeah,
when
dude,
the
I was
DJ was
so
going
worried.
down?
Yeah, because I was like, dude, like, oh, dude, how can I forget Mighty Mouse, bro? Everybody sleeps on Mighty Mouse, dude. Like, Mighty
Facts.
Mouse, like, and Henry Cejudo, these guys, like, ran the division, right? Like, they're not big knockout artists, right? Like, you're not going to get those crazy KOs, but the intensity, the speed, the heart that they bring. And then there's showman's about it. Like, there's showmanship about it. Dude, Mighty Mouse hit a fucking suplex to an armbar. I don't know how people aren't talking about that, like, still to this day, dude. Like, that's amazing. And, like, to see that level of, like, dude, they would just dominate with their technique, their level. Like, even Henry Cejudo, like, I know he's the king of cringe. Yeah. But, dude, like, that guy.
He's so good.
Yeah. He goes from, like, completely wrestling at a world level to, like, striking. Dude, he knocked out TJ to, like, he's dropping people. Yeah. So it's, like, crazy to see that athleticism. So, yeah, when I heard that, I was so worried because I was like, dude, like, where's my division?
Yeah. We have bantamweight now?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. No, and I'm glad they didn't shut that division down. That we would never see Figgy Moreno, or we never see Figgy or Moreno.
Yeah,
probably see him as like bantamweights or too light, and then getting like beat up. Like, it's not fair. But you know, like so, Heather Ferman, like I was randomly talking about him. Yeah. Speaking of not having a weight division, it's really messed up in some cases. Like, so the UFC doesn't have a male strawweight division.
Yeah.
Which I get it, but why don't they?
So what would that be? 115?
115, yeah. So it's the one below 125.
Damn, yeah.
Heather Ferman's strawweight.
Oh,
and finding a fight here was really hard. Well, actually, no. Finding a fight here was not that hard, right? In the sense that we have a lot of guys who are light here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if...
like abroad, was he having trouble?
Yeah, he's signed to Brave, but the Brave doesn't have a strawweight division either. So he's been asking for his release so he can go to one, which has a strawweight division. But then the UFC doesn't have a strawweight division, right? Yeah. So what do? It's like, do you move up to flyweight? Do you try to pack on all that? And is that... Putting on weight as a fighter is not easy. Like, you know what I mean?
No, and it changes, dude. Like, even just like it changes your body.
Yeah,
like,
completely.
Because then, like, if you're a high endurance kind of guy, once you start packing on that muscle, you notice that cardio drop, right? So yeah, you're stronger. But like, dude, like for me, like what I've learned about life is like everything's about like balance. So like, it's such a weird balance because you have to have this great cardio, right? You got to be ready to go 25 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yeah. You
have to have strength. That way you don't just get ragdolled. You can, if you like wrestle, you can take people down, hold them there, right? And then you have to have this like combination of the both where it's muscle endurance. Yeah. Where like you have cardio, right? So you can keep going, you have that strength, but then your muscles don't get tired, right? Like, I remember when I'd be wrestling sometimes, like my like in between, like I'd be shaking out my forearms because like my arm, I couldn't squeeze anymore, right? Yeah. So you have to combine all these three and not let any of the like pie chart go the other way. So it's like this crazy, crazy balance. So for somebody who's naturally 115 and comfortable there to make a jump to another weight, like that's why we see like even when Izzy went up, like, he didn't even gain that much weight because that's not his body type. Yeah. So it's gonna be very, very hard for him to do that compared to John Jones, who like looks like a fucking monster. Right now.
Right now he does. He looks.
I don't know compared to Ngannou though, because like Ngannou is just scary, man.
Please give me that fight, man. Just give me Stipe versus John Jones. I'm fine with that fight.
Dude, that'd be great.
That'd be a fucking amazing fight.
I would love that fight.
And I just want to see John at heavyweight because everybody's always, and I've also like the one thing that stands out about Jones is how tall he is, but then also how thin his legs are.
Yeah,
right? And now I want to see like him beefed up because he does look like a big boy now. He looks like a big boy.
He does look big, dude.
And dude, he tweeted out that he underestimated how hard it would be to put on the weight, right?
Yeah, man.
And now he's saying he's not coming back till 2022. So that kind of thing makes me think like, and this is John Jones. This is a guy who takes his training not very seriously.
Well, dude,
he doesn't take it the most seriously, but he does take it very seriously.
Yeah, dude, that's his job. This man was champion over like the course of years, dominant
Gold
in his performances.
Almost.
Yeah, dude.
Had he not been popped multiple times.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that takes away from your status, bro. Like, unless like I don't get that. Like, it's kind of like a diversion, but like the whole like PED thing, I hate when everybody says, "Oh, they're all on it."
Yeah.
They just have a way that hasn't been tested yet. I'm like, dude, fuck that, bro. Like, to me, at least, like, that's cheating. Like, if you did that and, like I used to love Dillashaw as well. Yeah. But then, like, you lose my respect. Like, yeah, you did your time and everything. But, like, even you jumping to that and, like, yeah, he was honest about it where he's like, yeah, like, if I won the belt, like, I would have lied if I hadn't gotten popped. Like, to me, that's just lack of character, right? Like, you want a dude like Michael Bisping, like Khabib, like, nobody's ever going to question these guys where they're like, yeah, no, if you do it naturally and you're dominant in your performances, it'll show.
Yeah.
You don't need that extra assistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, that's the only thing, like, that takes away from that GOAT status is, like, dude, like, it's not just about your fighting career, it's about your career as an individual as well. And that's why Khabib is, like,
I agree.
a shining light of that. Like,
I
yeah,
agree.
his resume may not be as great compared to John Jones, but he never had a close fight. There was never a fight where it was like, oh shit, like, I don't know, was it Dominic or Jones? No, dude, we knew every fight, every round. This is Khabib's fight. Yeah. He's fucking this dude up. Yeah. And to, like, have that career, dude, like, cemented GOAT. Yeah. Cemented GOAT.
I mean, I would put in one a Canadian Frenchman who might be the GOAT instead. Just one of them. But no, like, I think GSP.
No, there's lots of GOATs. There's lots of GOATs.
But even GSP, I think, got popped. Not popped exactly, but some accusation towards him from Michael Bisping. I think Bisping's one of those guys who's really hard about, like, you know, being bad.
See, that's the same thing too. It's like, I love GSP, but then he lost after that. Was it
Hendricks?
Henderson? Hendricks fight. So it's like he left after that, then he came back right when Bisping did it, like, get the belt. So it's like you see those, like,
it was very strategic on his end as well.
Yeah. You see that, like, kind of Floyd Mayweather kind of like.
But yeah, it's Khabib's just undisputed, really.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Like, no, like, there's definitely GOATs. Like, GSP is a GOAT, John Jones is a GOAT. But, like, when you look at somebody like Khabib, who's just, like, dominant, like a dominant force, right? It's like, damn, like, how can you compare?
And same thing with, although McGregor lost a lot of fights anyway. Like, no need to put him in that conversation.
For all the people, real quick, for everybody who's saying, like, oh, like, Jose Aldo, like, lost all these fights, but people still consider him a GOAT. Again, Jose Aldo isn't punching old men in bars and, like, having all these, like, accusations. It's your character about who you are. Yeah. So, like, that's why Conor loses people's respect. Like, Jose Aldo's not tweeting, like, stuff.
Fuck about DC and
man, crazy stuff.
Retired fighters. I used to defend this guy up until even beyond the Khabib press conference, and even when he punched the dude, like, not defend him as in say punched the old dude, pardon me. Like, it's not like it's not just a dude. That'd be like, oh, he punched a dude, whatever. Like, he punched an old dude. But I would defend him up to that point by saying, like, oh, he's in a very bad place in his life right now. You know, like like the toxic relationship that I was in, Conor. Like, I'm his girlfriend who's just in denial.
Tough to be a Conor fan right now.
No. He's not meaning. He's just like, you know, he's just
needs a win.
He's really angry these days. You see, he's drinking a lot. Like, that's what literally I would sit there and go, like, he's been drinking a lot. So, you know, he's saying all these mean things, but he's still really good. He's a nice guy. And then fucking, like, I would defend him beyond all of this shit. And then what really just, even the Khabib press conference, man. The Khabib press conference was fucked up because I was in the US when this was happening, and I felt really, like, I don't know what it is about being, what it was about being in the US, but I really felt my skin color. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt it, like, in the sense that
you're in Georgia too.
Yeah, I was in UGA, like, University of Georgia in Athens.
You're, like, looking around at all these, like, white people. Like, I don't know what it was. I just really feel my skin.
There's a lot of brown and African American people there. All that's good. But then I realized later it was more me than everybody else. Like, I was in a college town, so they're used to brown people. But for me, I was just, because, you know,
it's
like,
a culture shock, bro.
I was like, man, where am I? But I would really feel it, and I would be very prideful about where I'm from then, because people would, are you from India? And I was like, man, what the fuck, man? Like,
Pakistan, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's different. It's like, it's the same thing, isn't it? But I would really feel like sensitive about it. But when that press conference happened, and Conor went on about, like, so basically religion, race, his wife, how he doesn't drink, mad backwards, like, all of that. I'm like, this dude's racist. I was like, straight up, there's no other thing. This guy's just racist.
He brought in countries. He was like, Dagestan fled to the mountains. Like, your people are cowards. Like, the Irish fought the kings of, like, Europe. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? What are you talking about?
It's like, man. And then the biggest thing is, like, you know, you make fun of somebody for not drinking. Really?
Yeah, dude.
Is
that's
that
how
where
low
you're
gonna
at?
go.
Yeah,
no, dude. Karma gets people, bro.
Karma got him.
I love that clip of Khabib saying, "Let's talk now," while he is just, like, fucking trying to change.
Business.
Yeah, that's the best. It's just business. I swear. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's been a really weird couple of months for me since he snapped his tibia, because like that. So up until that point, I was rooting the fuck for me. Like, I was like, this guy's gonna win. He's gonna beat Poirier straight to the title shot. Let's go, baby. But like, what really messed me up,
I was on the opposite side of that.
no, I was delusional. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to certain fighters, I understand I'm wrong when it comes to my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just delusional about it. But that's
you get that bias, bro. You're like, you want them to win, so then you give them a few extra cards in their favor.
So you're just convincing yourself and everybody around you that he's gonna win. But deep down, I knew, like, when I saw a second fight, Dustin looked rock solid, dude. Like, his freaking cross guard, whatever it is, I love that shit. Bro. And his kicks on point. His boxing looked great. He can grapple him. You could tell if he wanted to, and he just looks like even physically, he just looks really solid, right?
Yeah, dude, he's all arounder for sure.
But what really did it for me as a Conor fan was just everything that he did after the fight. I looked up to this guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I looked up to this guy.
That's what I'm saying. You want them to carry themselves, and like when he lost to Diaz and like he was humble about it and he came back and he gets that win. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see somebody like complaining and then saying like, oh, your wife's in my Diaz. Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, like, why?
That shit's just low hanging fruit. And like I've been looking at this guy since he fought Marcus Brimage when he made his UFC debut. I didn't follow his Cage Warriors Cage fight because I'm not that hardcore, or at least I wasn't then. But yeah, I've seen him fight all these guys, and he was the guy who really got me into the sport. And he got me into the sport when I was at a really bad point in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I was really, and when I say bad point in my life, like, things are fine, life is good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm living. But it was one of those times where I really looked at it and I thought, like, I'm alive, but I don't feel like I'm really, you know, living, so to speak. Like, I didn't really have a direction.
It's like going through the motions.
Yeah, going through and just being a little younger than this, and obviously just not knowing what my purpose on this planet is, right? And sometimes you just need greatness, you know what I mean, to be in front of you and you just go, wow, you know what I mean? Like, this guy, how does he, you know what I mean? How does he say what he's gonna do in such press situations? Never snaps, never breaks character. He does it like nobody else has ever done it.
Dude, that Jose Aldo Conor, when you see him and he's like cool headed and he's just steering, like looking down the lights, dude, like, that's amazing. And like I love what you said about like you like needed greatness, dude. Yeah. There's something about like witnessing like even just like human greatness in general. Like, no matter what sport, when you just see something amazing, you're like, fuck, like, we do that, people do that, that's crazy. Like, it like inspires you to like, okay, like, if that's his path, like, what's my path? Like, what do I do great? You know, like.
The Conor thing broke my heart when the Dustin Poirier fight happened, and then, you know, all of a sudden he's just the world's biggest douchebag. And he always was. But then after that point, because drunk or not, on coke or not, whatever kind of person he is, those are different discussions, right, for a different time. Yeah. But my thing is, when your leg's broken and you're sitting in front of the world, just still accepting the fact that your leg broke, that's when I don't think you're putting on an act. I think that's when the real you really comes out. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but every time I've been hurt or feeling injured, or like my shoulder comes out a lot. Whenever my shoulder comes out, but like for the next 2-3 minutes after it goes back in, I'm thinking like the realest thoughts. You know what I mean? Not like I'm honest with myself. That's who I really am, because I'm hurt then, because I'm vulnerable then. I think that's the case. McGregor sat there with a broken leg and said all of that. I was just like, that's it. Thank you. I was like, thank you. You've inspired me. You gave me your greatness. You took me from a guy who would sit in his dining room studying for fucking O-levels, A-level exams. It's like feeling out of it. Just like, what am I doing with my life? And you took him and you put him to a point where this is all of this is
amazing, man.
It's partly because of him, because he inspired me. You know what I mean? But now it's like, thanks, bro. I don't need that anymore. Like, this is just bullshit. But we do get inspired by greatness, my friend. And I saw that when you fought. I'm serious.
Oh, dude,
no, I'm serious. I'm serious. Because I see you every day almost at the gym. You know, I work there and you're training there. I've seen you train. I've seen you fight as well before. Mm-hmm. When you're in there, in the kit, in the gloves, and in the cage, just running around in your element, just, you know what the fuck you have to do. Especially before the fight. I was not getting in your way before the fight. I was like, there's no way. I'm like fist bumping. You're like, what's up, Rehan? You ready to fight, bro? Like, I was like, just don't shut the fuck up. Stay away from it. Let him get his thing. And what really hit me, this is what I can't forget, like when I was introing you, right? And when I was just saying, oh, Wolf, you're just stretching, you just had a smile on your face. every other guy screamed back at me. Every other guy looked at me and just went like, ooh, ah, ooh, whatever. And I love that as well.
Yeah.
You're just smiling. You're just smiling. And when I went back to the desk, I was like, I'm putting this guy over as hard as I can. Because my friend, you're a superstar in the making. I really mean
bro,
it.
thank you, bro. Thank you.
I was
Dude,
inspired by that.
You, like if we're giving pats on the back, right?
No, not that serious.
Nah, man, like, you do the same thing, and that's why, like, I love the podcast. Like, to go out of your way to do something like this, like, it's amazing, and like, it's an honor to be on. Like, I'm so thankful. Following some greats as well. Like, everybody understands it. Yeah, no, I really like it, and it inspires me. Like, that's what I say. Like, when we are inspired by greatness, so it's like, it's nice to like have that surrounding you, right? Like when you train with those guys who are killers, when you see it in the gym comedy, you see how they do in the gym, dude, it boosts you up, it gives you that energy. And thank you also for like letting me get into that mental state. Dude, like my mental is always like, it's such a fragile thing. Like I'm still trying to like figure it out, but Illumi definitely gave me some amazing advice. And, like it was so great talking to him, just getting his perspective. His mentality was, you have to get all the emotion out, that way fight day, like you just go there to fight, you just go there to take care of business. So I was like, okay, I could see that, because like for me, like I was just like suppressing it, like I was moving, I was doing so much other stuff with school, and like so I just kept myself busy, and then like blocking the emotion. So then when the fight got closer, it was like those dams were breaking and all the emotion was coming back, and I was like, oh damn, what do I do? And literally like Illumi was like, dude, whatever you gotta do, just scream. So like in the back, like I was like looking around, I checked where everybody was, because like I felt it, like I don't know, like I'm a very like feeling person, like I felt the emotion in my chest and like building up and everything. And like they just had this like bag of towels, and I just grabbed like a few towels, screamed my like lungs out into the towels, took a breath, and I was like, okay, like we're ready to go. It is really hard, because like I like to keep like that Mike Tyson, like Mike Tyson is like one of my biggest inspirations. So dude, I want to have that like aura of just like, I'm coming in here to like murder. Like dude, I'm coming in here to, and it's so hard too, because like you get me so hyped, so part of me is like, oh fuck dude, like like this is so hype, dude, he's screaming. But I'm just like, all right, like smile through it, like now's the time to take care of business.
No, I think it's one of those things, like anything in life, the more you do it, I think the more you're gonna get used to the mental aspect of it as well. I know Memosh was here for quite a bit, like even when that fight when you were fighting, the guy was like 8 kilos heavy, was cornering you and everything. I've talked to him like for hours on end, like about what it's like to, because this is my, sounds weird as fuck, but my biggest fetish. It's like like fighting. Oh hell. It's like it is the thing that I want to do and not do the most in my life, which is just to have one fight, you know, like that one fight, because you're such a big fan of it, you think like, oh, you want to do it, but then you see the reality of it as well after a point where you're not trained, you don't take it seriously. I don't train or take it seriously, like I barely work out, you know what I mean, let alone train for MMA fights.
Nah, dude, I see it. You got some guns, bro.
A little bit. But yeah, no, and the mental aspect is something which kind of really does develop over time. But right now, I feel as if you, like you said, you're around people right now. First of all, you're in unprecedented circumstances, I think, for your life. You're in Pakistan, and then on top of that, you're getting fights in Pakistan. Now you're on cable TV in Pakistan. What the hell is going on, right?
It's crazy.
But then beyond that, I think all that exposure, what that's doing is it's slowly taking you and exposing you to guys who are at the top of this thing, like Illumi, Coach Etisham is another brilliant guy. Coach Rizwan from Karachi is very, very good guy as well. And then all these, I'm just naming guys who were there at Brave on the day. Fazain Khan Saduzai. There's a whole bunch of guys who, honestly, if you ask me, like I would encourage you to blow their phones up if you can, like all the time. Because these are guys who fought Brave, these are guys who fought One, these are guys who fought all over the place, and these are guys who now are like 30-something, and they're 30-something fighting all these years in Pakistan. You know what I mean? And that's got to be like a completely different like perspective as well, that you can then eventually take back, and then, you know what I mean? Like I just feel as if this is very good. I'm very happy like that you're now compared to like, you know, Wabda Town and just all of that, and for a whole year you're now freaking in the mix of it, my friend. You're in the middle of it all. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's sometimes a little bit overwhelming, because for me, like, I just want to go out there, I just want to fight, like I don't want to do anything else. And then it was kind of a shock to get
It's like that business, that like management side of it, where it's like, okay, like you have to promote yourself, you have to go talk to people, you have to try to go get sponsors. And I was like, dude, like, I just want to go fight, man. Like, I'm not trying to do anything else, dude. I just want to go out there and bust some heads, man. Like, but it is wild. I think the best advice I got was like my dad said, just like be a sponge. Like my dad would put me through. Like we would go to like a lot of wrestling camps. We would like any training session, whatever it was. My dad like had me there. And like he would be in the back like recording, and like we'd go home and watch it. But yeah, I think like adopting that mentality, like just be a sponge. Whatever these guys are saying, I'm gonna soak it up. And then right, I think then in combination with like falling into your style and figuring out like what is best for you, you can pick and take from take that and then add it into your repertoire and then start building off of that. And then you level up essentially. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy mental like jump. But it is amazing, especially to get that exposure and like pick these guys' brains. Or like you said, like these guys have been through it. Like Luma's fought everywhere, right? And he's fought like very tough guys at a high level on a bigger stage. So like to pick his brain and see like what he's thinking and like what his advice is, it's the best. Dude, my boxing coach back home, I love the guy. His name is Trent Martinez. Shout out. He's a OG, man. I love this guy. He's a wild dude. So like, this dude is fucking wild. He runs in like this biker club. He's all tatted from his face to his toes, dude. Yeah, bro. He's wild, man. And he's just one of those like old dudes. Like he shoots it straight. Like he'll cuss, he'll say whatever, but like it's as blunt as possible, and you pick it up like as much as possible. And like with me, the thing that I love was like, so he was actually the dude who got me into fighting. So at my school, like I went to Mount Carmel. It was just like all boys Catholic private school in the middle of the south side of Chicago. Little diamond in the rough. Amazing school. They had this fight night, so you sign up and like they have like people who train you there. And then my dad just happened to bump into Trent because his son wrestled as well at Region Wrestling where we trained. So my dad was like, okay, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna take it seriously. So every day, like I remember I had my permit, my dad would make me drive there after school, and we'd go to Trent, and it was just in his garage. And like we would just train. Dude, this is crazy. The first day, so he was like, okay, I'm gonna test your reflexes, your reactions. I want to see if you blink. He's like, I'm not gonna punch. He's like, I'm not gonna hit you, but I'm gonna punch at you. So he's like, I'm gonna punch like right in front of your face. So basically what he's testing for is see if like you get that like heavy blink, or if you blink real quick, or if you like even keep it open. So I was like, okay. And the first he does it, and like on his knuckles, I see fear, and then he pulls it back, and then he throws again, and it says none. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, this dude is fucking scary.
I love it.
Yeah, at the same time, I was like, just blink real quick.
Holy shit. But, I love that, man.
Amazing, dude.
You still keep up with Trent? Looking forward to seeing him again?
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited. Dude, Trent is amazing because like I sent him like a 45 second clip of me sparring, and he literally wrote like 2 pages worth of like things that, dude, he dissects it. Like I love that. So he was a junior Olympian and then like a best in the Midwest like competition. Like he won that. He was a killer, bro. He's amazing.
Shout out Trent. Big
time. Dude, he's super great, and like he prepared me for. I won those 2 fights that I fought at my school, those amateur bouts. And it was so crazy because it was just in this garage. Like it was a space like about this size, and like he would like lay out tape. He had like a boxing bag where he'd use like old tires, like real like Rocky movie kind of shit, dude. I was like, this is crazy.
I love that.
And we were just drilling, like, dude, like it was just crazy to have that background and have somebody who's like, you know, they're gonna shoot you straight. Like if you fuck up and your elbow's an inch out, he's gonna tell you that. He's not gonna say, okay, you're fine, you're good. No, like he'll tell you like every micro adjustment, and then he'll give you like 3 drills to do with it, and then he'll tell you some crazy funny story that relates to it. So like then you bond with him. I love the dude. He's amazing. So yeah, definitely looking forward to training with him, getting some more work in as well.
I think I think you found a lot of things that you're gonna take back here, but I mean the bigger thing is that it's like all of the things that you're going to take back from here, and then you add them to whatever else you're going to learn when you go back, you know, to your coaches, and you keep training with them and everything. I just think I'm just like, you know, the impossibility of circumstances that you can't really figure out, you know, where it's going to lead you to or how you got to it. But I'm glad you are where you are, my friend. Like I know you're for a small amount of time, and I think it's only up from here. And I really, really, really do think that. I really do think that moving forward, people are gonna know you more and more, and it's gonna be gonna be fun. And then the Olympics is not a bad idea. I didn't know this was your plan. Let's work on that.
For sure, bro.
And then I mean, this is a plain open canvas, my friend.
Yeah.
And I think you're painting a beautiful picture so far.
Thank you, bro.
And
Thank you.
Before we run out of space, I think I'm gonna. It's been open an hour. Shit, how long has it been?
That's why that's 3 hours.
Yes, I didn't even notice we can't record over an hour normally. I think we went way over an hour this time. Man, I didn't notice. But the last segment of the podcast, in case you watched all the way to the end, is your segment. It's basically whatever you want to say, whoever you want to, shout out, whatever. We've done a lot of shout outs. But if you want to say something, get something off your chest, you have like a central message that you wanted to come here and really, get across that we might not have in our conversation. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I think I've just been very blessed, and I want to thank the people around me, right? Just, it's so crazy, like we said, like that circumstance, like I'm blessed to be like, even when the people I grew up with back home, like all the wrestlers, my coaches, like Coach Sertzis, like all my training partners back home, Miles, Dan, I see you guys, like they really boosted me to this level and built up that mentality along with my dad, like pushing me to be the best. And I think that's the biggest thing, that this is one of my biggest advantages. Like everybody thinks it's my wrestling, but no, it's my mentality.
Yeah.
Even though I struggle with it, like I know that nobody's going to break me. And I'm just blessed to have the community that was able to help me build that. And then definitely want to thank my girlfriend again. Dude, she's such a big support, bro. Like very, very helpful. Because like there are those moments where, like you said, like reality hits you, you're in a dark place. And sometimes you need greatness, but sometimes you also just need like some love and support. Yeah. And she's there for me and very, very, very helpful. Besides that, bro, for the culture, stay tuned, man. It's like you said, bro, inshallah, people start seeing my face around a lot more. Yeah. Get out there, get some fights, bust some heads. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, bro. I'm excited. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, dude. This has been like honestly one of the most like easiest conversations because it's so relaxed.
Oh yeah, dude.
So much fun.
We're bros. Also, one more thing. It's Rehan Uribe, guys, or Uribe. All right, don't forget it.
You had to let him know. Rehan, thank you so much for coming on, my brother. This has been The Weigh-In with Rehan Uribe. I said that right?
Yeah, there you go.
Boom. Rehan Uribe. You know what to do. I tell you at the end of every podcast, in case you're one of the few people that stick around to the end. Thank you. But then also leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, all of that shit.
Don't just like. Make sure you follow as well. Repost that shit as well.
Please, or else Rehan's going to come beat your ass. You understand me?
Allegedly.
This has been Daniel Nasser Mirza with Rehan Uribe. And the 3 words I say to you at the end of the podcast, that's keep it tight.